In just 7 days, you can go from a bad habit that you want to change to a completely different mindset. Here are 5 easy steps to breaking bad habits. This is Wandering with Wilfred. We all have habits we want to break. But why is it so hard? Hello, and welcome back to Wandering with Wilfred. I am your host, Wilfred, and today we will be wandering through another trail located off of the Lake View Trail in Massey Drive, Newfoundland and Labrador. Breaking habits feels so hard because habits are like trails we walk down over and over again. But just because we've taken the same path before, doesn't mean we can't choose a new one. The first step to breaking a habit is figuring out what it is and why you do it. When does it happen? What triggers it? How do you feel before you do it? There are 2 types of triggers for habits: emotional triggers and situational triggers. Emotional triggers are when you do a habit based on a certain emotion, such as stress or boredom, and situational triggers are when you do a habit at a certain place or during a certain time. Once you've identified the habit, the next step is to replace the habit with something better. Stopping a habit is hard. Replacing it is easier. Instead of just cutting it off, swap it with something better. If you always scroll on your phone before bed, maybe try reading a book instead. It makes it a lot easier if you enjoy this new replacement for the habit. Make the replacement something that you enjoy doing, not something you have to work to do. The third step is to make the old habit harder to do. If you make a habit harder to do, you're less likely to do it. Leave your phone in another room. Put your snacks on the highest shelf. Whatever it takes to put obstacles in the way. There are tools to help you break habits, such as apps to help monitor phone usage. The key is to find what works best for you. The harder the old habit becomes, the easier it will be to replace, and soon enough, you'll have a brand new habit in place of the old one. Now that you've completely transformed a bad habit into a good one, it's important to track your progress and stay consistent. Growth needs to be consistent, so you should always track your progress. You could use checklists, a calendar where you mark off your goals, or even a progress app on your phone. Again, finding what works for you is important, and it's okay if it takes time. And remember, if you slip up, it's not the end. Just keep going, and you can be sure that you will succeed. The last step is to reward yourself. After every milestone of progress, treat yourself to a fun activity. After 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, celebrate and give yourself a reason to keep going. Just make sure your reward doesn't clash with your goal. For example, if you're trying to cut down on desserts, rewarding yourself with cake won't help. Rewards should feel fun and encouraging, not like steps backward. We've talked about how to break habits, but we haven't talked about the science behind habits, and it's both interesting and important knowledge. Having a deeper understanding of how habits work can help us tackle them. Habits are automatic behaviors formed through something called the habit loop. This loop has 3 parts: the cue, the routine, and the reward. First, something triggers you, and this is known as the cue. It could be boredom, stress, or even a specific time of day. Then comes the routine, what you do when triggered. And finally, the reward, how your brain feels after completing the routine. When you repeat a behavior enough times, your brain starts to link the cue, routine, and reward together. This makes the behavior more automatic over time. It's your brain's way of saving energy and being efficient. Instead of making a conscious decision every single time, your brain puts things on autopilot. This all happens in a part of the brain called the basal ganglia. It's responsible for emotions, memory, and pattern recognition. Knowing how habits work helps us understand why breaking bad ones can be tough. You're not just fighting the behavior itself. You're fighting a well-worn pathway in your brain that's been built over time. But just as bad habits form, good ones can be built the same way. By understanding the habit loop and using it to your advantage, you can start making real, lasting changes. In this video, we covered 5 simple steps to breaking habits. We also learned about the different types of habit triggers and how to replace that habit and make the old one harder to do. I hope that this video inspires you to break a bad habit. And if you've been following this entire series, thank you. Your support is very much appreciated. Please like, subscribe, and share this video, as well as comment if you want to see more videos like this. Tail wags and happy trails. Embark on the journey with us. Find our images, pins, and postcards. Become part of Wilfred's Wanderers and help us fulfill our journey. Let's venture together.